shall be the truth, the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth.
Thank you for having me here today. I just wanted to start by saying how deeply sorry I am to all of those who lost loved ones, family members through the pandemic, and also all those who suffered in the various different ways throughout the pandemic and as a result of the actions were taken.
And during the time of the crisis, do you?
No, I don't. I've changed my phone multiple times over the past few years, and as that has happened, the messages have not come across. As you said, I'm not a prolific user of WhatsApp in the first instance, primarily communication with my private office, and obviously anything that was of significance through those conversations or exchanges will have been recorded officially by my civil servants, as one would expect. The experience of the previous Prime Minister was, and I think entirely rightly, that for big decisions he would want to go over the arguments, test out different points of view. He might do some of that bilaterally with ministers, do some of it in smaller group meetings. I think that's entirely normal, particularly when you're dealing with something that is uncertain and unprecedented. It's not surprising that that happens, and I don't necessarily think that it is a bad thing. I think it shows that someone is engaging with the process and hearing from different people before you get to a final decision meeting. That he doesn't recall representations being made to them to revisit the policy. So I know there's been a lot of commentary on this point, but there was almost a month between announcement and commencement. I've outlined my reasons for why we implemented the policy and why we thought it was the right thing to do, and I believe it was the right thing to do to safeguard those jobs in the context of the safe reopening that had already been agreed. But at none of those moments, in those meetings, there was plenty of opportunity for people to have raised it either with me or with the Prime Minister. I don't recall, and the minutes do not suggest, that it was raised at all in the 3 precise meetings that you mentioned.
We are just simply going to have to do this in the greater good. But you never raised it at all with anybody outside number 10.
Because, as would be completely normal for all economic policy before fiscal events, that's long-standing practice. It always has been so. I wouldn't have discussed the VAT cut on the hospitality sector with the Secretary of State for Health, or the stamp duty cut, or the grants. These are all either market-sensitive or economic issues.
Mr. Sunak, forgive me, those are all fiscal measures. The Eat Out to Help Out scheme encouraged more people, additional numbers from different households, to come together in restaurants to eat. It wasn't just a fiscal issue, it was a behavioural matter.
So were many of the economic interventions. But again, the point remains, indoor hospitality, all the points you made about people coming together and eating was already part of the May plan, had already been collectively agreed and announced. It had been said to the country, restaurants were safe to visit with all the extra COVID secure systems that had been put in place.
Firstly, inappropriately and unattractively, there is material which shows that the Treasury was pejoratively associated with death. Some officials in number 10 described the Treasury as the pro-death squad, obviously on account of the fact that the Treasury was seen to be opposed to maximum public health interventions and was quite properly, as we've established, promoting the issue of the need to avoid economic and societal damage and harm. Were you aware that the Treasury was being referred to in those terms? You may not have been aware.
I wasn't, and I do not think it is a fair characterisation.
Indeed.